Hey everybody, I just wanted to show you how I use one kit for an entire month in my Inkwell Press A5. So as you can see for here, what I've started with is these chipboard shapes, and I have used all of the chipboard shapes minus this one right here and throughout the month. And as for these Puffy stickers, here's what I have left, and I do save my cuts as I go along. I put them back on the paper so I can use them for other things, and I'll show you why. Because I don't necessarily I use everything, and I'll get to that in a second. So here is what I've got for my mission board. What I've done here is taken these beautiful foiled speckled hearts here, and I just joined one onto the other for tabs so I know where my mission board is. And these right here, as you can see right here, things happen. I do smudge, so what are you gonna do? But I've got these lines here, and those lines are from the washi strips, and the washi strips are right here, and I just use these end cuts. And so what I did is I just slit on the edges and cut them and trim them to size for my mission board. And I really love how decorative it looked, and then I did my writing around the edges, so it gave it a little bit of extra space. Here are some of those washi strips that came in a long one. And I'll link right here on the card. I'll link up my unboxing for this kit so you can see the contents. And this one, I just wanted like a collage sort of things. And so what I did was I used all these, excuse me for a second, these end parts that I had left after doing all my projects, and I created that from that. And this heart right here came from this, I made stencil. So after I took all the chipboard shapes out of there, I just used this as a stencil, and I used it throughout. So here we have these Vellum phrase stickers. This is all I have left, other than I've got a full another sheet right here. I just decided to decorate my February divider here, and this is a stock February divider for the A5 for Inkwell Press. Yes, used more Puffy stickers, and here's an example of what these washi strips looks like. This is one in its entirety. And then I just, fiddle farted with all the extra stuff just to make it a little bit more interesting. I have to be honest, I'm not a super big fan of this page, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta let it go. I did it a couple times, and I redid it, and I took stuff off, and I kept adding, and finally I just said, whatever, it's not gonna work. So let's move on to the next page. I have my February setup here. Again, here's that foiled heart as a tab that I like to use. And this, I did a scallop shape on one of these washi strips, and I actually just used the stencil. And so I took the washi strip and put the stencil on the washi strip, and then I drew around it and then cut it out. And it turned out there was just enough of a salvage on the edge that it turned into this scallop. And then I took these pretty paper stickers. They look like buttons, and here's what I have left of that. And I just put those in the spaces. It just adds a little bit to mention on the top. I've got my top 5, my notes. Here with this Tyler's birthday right here, I've got this I used as a stencil, and oddly enough, it fits absolutely perfect right there in that month spread. And then I used just one of those chipboard pieces to accent each of these larger days that I've got going on. And this just down here is a couple washi strips, and then I did some detail around the button shapes. And here again, this is another one of those in-between pieces from the washi strips. And here I've got these Resin Hearts, and there was 8 in the kit, and here I have the beginning of my first one, and it's just 2 Resin Hearts put together, and I'll link right above on this card how I did that. I did it at the end of my plan with me for this spread, and I can show you that. You can go see that later after you finished here. But this was I did a plan with me, and I'll, like I said, link that up there. And this is what my spread looked like for the first week of February. And again, we can just walk through it real quick. This is a stencil. This thing right here, this is the stencil I use. I used it quite a bit on this throughout the month. As you'll see, I got the hearts, more washi strips. There really isn't anything too dramatic. This is, these are, let me get these stickers out here. here, this is what I have left, which is not very much, but I could still use the outside. What I've found is that when I do cut the outside, I'm not the best cutter. It's not perfect. I could use a punch, but I don't have the right size. So I probably will end up throwing this away. I know I've used all the stickers, I can throw it away, but I usually do use the outside rings, but I just wasn't happy with the way I was turning out, so this is probably going to go to the garbage. But this was actually a circle, and I just cut along where the edges of the color was, and so I just put that down. There really isn't much going on here that was too dramatic. I used the stencil for these. This is the stencil I keep referring to. And I did it on a washi strip, and I just stuck those down there. No big deal. Pretty simple. And here again, another resin heart. I wanted to do kind of like a stair step, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I knew this is the first week, and then this is the second week. So we're going to turn the page here. And yes, it's a little plain. The reason is because I'm trying to get in the habit of doing the entire month at a time. It's a little extra work. I have to plan ahead, but I seem to be a little bit more, I'm not wasting time getting out the supplies again and doing all that. If I just do it all at once, it's done in one fell swoop. And I've got many different planners, so I can use different shops in each planner, or I could use different shops for each week. But I just really wanted to try that this month for February and see how this worked. And it working pretty good for me so far. So anyway, let's talk about what's going on here. Pretty easy washi strips. I wanted to put all of my activities, all the things I needed to do in one space. I am a Inkwell Press Classic spiral bound, the wire O binding, girl for last year and the year before that. And so this is the first year I've used an A5 for Inkwell Press, and I will have to say, I'm not sure I'm going to make it through the year. I feel like I'm cramped, I don't have enough space. I really liked the notes section in it previously, so I'm kind of missing out on that. So I'm trying to replicate it for this week. This is this week that I'm working on right now, and I don't know. I'll have to see how it goes, but right now I'm kind of on the edge of tossing it to the side and going back to spiral bone or something bigger, but we'll go with that in for a while. But anyway, I've got down here, I've got practice times and meal plans for the whole week. So that's nothing special in this one. Yes, another resin heart. So we turn the page. I've always wanted to try this, and I never have, which is odd because I've been doing this for so long, is I put dividers in between the days of the week. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I haven't gotten in here because it's the week before this, but I think it turned out, as long as I have some white space to break it up a little bit. I'm kind of a white space kind of girl. I think it'll work out. But I did another stencil over here. I cut these circles in half, another circle in half here, and then I add these Vellum phrase stickers all around. A lot of things don't happen for me on Saturday and Sunday except for practices and meal planning and that sort of thing, or games. So I don't mind that there's not a whole lot of space here on Saturday and Sunday. It's just I'm missing the rest of the space for my time here in the A5. So another resin heart. So we're on to week 4, and I think because I did the last week was so busy, I decided to try something new here with just blocks of shapes. The kids have off of school here, so I won't be getting much done anyway on Monday. But I also thought on Friday, we really don't do a lot of things on Friday except for games or practices. So it's kind of open here on purpose to fill in those spaces for the next week after that. So for the next day, so it won't be quite so confusing. And I love these hearts, and I only have one left. One left is all I have for that. I think we'll turn the page. I don't have anything else to talk about. In the notes and rambling section, and what I do here, I don't necessarily use or don't use, but what I want to do is make sure I have set up for categories that I can use. So I really do use this for pre-meal planning, like say there's something that somebody asked that I can make, or like my husband has cravings every now and again, just like everybody else. So like last month I put chicken tortilla soup. He really wanted that. I'm like, I am not buying a can of that at the store, but I'll make it some for you. So I just wrote that down. So I'll do pre-head meal planning, upcoming things, notes from meetings. We have booster meetings every week. And so I'll just do notes real quick. So I like to break this up so it's not just, you know, all these different things running together. So that's what this is. And what I did was using this stencil here is I used this stencil here, and then I used this stencil underneath it to kind of have that accent. And then again, these are those half circles that I used here that translated into this. I have to find it just a second. Where'd it go? Oh, it's on the month view, that's right. So this. So I started off doing this, and then I found this, and I like added it, and I was like, oh, that works out right. So another foiled heart. And the last page is my focus, which you can see is completely empty. I don't know if I need to focus on anything every month, but I'm glad it's there in case I want to. Again, I have my to-do list. These are things that are generic for the whole month. I'll put them in the back here, like things that I need to do, things that I need to focus on. So I divided this section into 3. I've got food, home, and kids. And when I was doing the circles, I screwed up. I was going to do circles, squares, and circles, but, you know, I was just in the groove. And here is this washi strip I'll show you from the kit. And what I do is just, I cut them into little hearts. And so I've got daily cleaning, which I'm not being quite so faithful for, but loading it a load a day, and then make sure I pack Mark's lunch because he's a tendency to head out the door without it, and then he's ended up at the fast food store or the convenience store, and he doesn't need to be doing that. He needs to take home for lunch. So anyway, moving on, that's it. I've got nothing else. I used the washi strip, more chipboard shapes. And I guess the only last thing I did not add was this big I love you wood veneer heart. I did not add. And this is literally all that I have left. I will link the kit contents below if you're interested. And hopefully someday I'll have enough guts to show you the rest of the planner with all of the other parts that I have in here. Well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you guys enjoyed the flip through. Take care. I'll see you next time.